Well, it's a real honour to have Anish join us here in the commentary room. We don't often have such high-rated celebrities join us here. So, hello, Anish.
Hello. Thank you for your kind words.
And how was your work day today then? How was it today?
Yeah, well, it wasn't very long. So probably on average it was the best paid work day I had. No, okay, I'm playing here for pleasure anyways.
Sure.
So yeah, I mean, I had already a game like this once, different move order, but this repetition I once had against Leon Aronian, who is a very hot name now.
Yeah, it is.
Again, and he did it with me with the purpose of securing a plus score in the Blitz tournament, which would then make him have an extra white in a real tournament.
Okay.
So it was a very high stake game, and he decided to cement this.
Cement his
situation.
whites. So
yeah, and okay, I mean, it looks like a lame game, and it is, of course, but.
But the reason for this is, of course, you guys know each other very well.
Yeah, but that's not the only reason for that.
Okay.
I mean, I could end up playing such a game against some other young Indian player, because it was not. We hadn't agreed upon playing such a game.
Sure.
I've never. You won't believe that, but I've never in my life had a game prearranged. I had draws in 6 moves once by offering it, or actually by accepting rather. But I've never. Never
agreed
the draw beforehand.
Yeah.
So, but I will, of course, assumed that it's very possible that if I give Vidit such an option, like playing it solid, then he will do that. And that's why I gave him a choice here, because he could, for example, give a check here, which is a principal line.
Okay.
That leads to a lot of complications.
Yeah. And of course you're black as well. So when you're playing with black, sometimes
I could have. Of course, I am able to play a fighting line here, but we've discussed most of the fighting lines here with it already. So I decided.
So you again working together. You know each other's games.
Yeah, and of course, I mean, if let's say if we had to have a decisive result today because it was the last round, we would have
done something a bit more.
One of us would have deviated at any point, but today there was not that much at stake. So.
No, and it gets you sort of halfway stage, good position, and and how have you enjoyed Iceland so far?
Yeah, well, haven't. You mean if I've been somewhere or in general?
The hospitality here.
Yeah, hospitality I enjoyed very much. But I haven't had any major trips. Like I haven't done the Golden Circle again, or haven't been to the Blue Lagoon this time. But I've just been walking around, eating some. Food with coupons, doing the stuff you are doing, but then without drinking. So
without drinking, yes, okay.
Which makes it very sad suddenly. Yeah.
Wow, no, it's understandable when you're playing, and of course. But should we have a look at some of the other games maybe? And apparently, if the third one down, Dimitri's game. We haven't looked at this from the start. If you even want to take us through from the start. You have
a radar in this room, yeah. When somebody plays h4, immediately you are like, look at that game.
Exactly, we get.
Yeah, it's quite funny. He took here on c6, whereas usually they go long castle, and then there is Gupta plays bishop d7, but there is a variation which is similar to the game. It goes h6, takes, bishop f4, d5.
Right.
And this pawn center is good for black strategically. But in this particular line, I think, it's really awkward because it's not really my home turf, so I don't even remember the move order. But somehow the knight ends up often on h7 because you have to go. You go e5.
Yep.
Vidit knows all about this stuff. I don't know. Maybe bishop e2.
Yeah.
Bishop b4, queen e3. I think it goes like this.
Something like
this. And then if knight goes here, then at some point they chop it off. At some point, not immediately.
Sure.
And this line was actually discussed a lot in the World Rapid this year. Ivanchuk played a few times.
Okay. Yes. Okay.
And Karakin beat him in a very important game.
I remember this one. Yeah.
Yeah. And he went like h4, then rook h3, and he sacked.
Yes.
And the main line goes knight h7 to stay closer to the king. But then this is quite awkward. And Magnus won. He beat some guy, Henriquez, I think, from Chile, and by controlling the c5 square. At some point, he just went
knight a4.
I think he went a3, and it was already here, which is really bad for black because now you have the c5 square. At some point, he just, or actually, he went through the nice square. I think that's more or less how he won his game. So this line is there, but now Andreikin took immediately.
Would you say Dimitri, to me, seems like the kind of player who doesn't, he goes his own way a bit? in the opening. He doesn't always follow the theory of other people. He
Almost
tries
never,
out sort of slightly odd lines, I'd say. So
yeah, he does. But this is a very risky decision because, as I said, strategically the line is not very. I mean, strategically this is not very good for it because you have an open b-file, incredibly strong center.
Yeah.
And I've seen games where white's getting absolutely crushed in such positions. You know, just rook b8, queen a5, knight goes to d7 to b6.
Very simple plans.
Very simple plans. So so bishop e2, h4. I mean,
kind of makes some sense to play this way, I guess.
But we don't have the pawn on h6 like in the other line, so there's no clear target here.
And rook b8's just been played. I can see on the current board here. So
there's nothing wrong with the move rook b8.
Just sensible move. And you know, I agree. It does look actually quite dangerous for white here with a queen coming to b6 or a5 at some moments. So
in the modern chess, they do that with white a lot because the computer usually doesn't believe in black's attack.
Right.
But back in the day, I remember there was some game in some PCA tournament. I think it was Kasparov's game, maybe, when he totally destroyed. Short Kasparov or something like that. He completely destroyed white here. I think practically speaking it's nice. But okay, Andreikin is of course a strong player. He understands the danger. He will come up with something. At least he can always trade dark square bishops.
Right. Which
would remove black's attacking potential.
Sure.
But this would release the pawn center, the tension completely, and black will be able to go at some point c5 if need be.
Okay. So I mean, I guess this is roughly sort of even kind of position at the moment, but there's a lot of play here. It's an interesting
I mean, you cannot say, I mean, even maybe by I mean that it's early in the game to say who is better, but you cannot really say equal. I mean, it's very possibly, it's definitely going to be a decisive result, very likely,
So we had a very interesting game. We were just starting to look at A1's game, which is just,
it's very funny because, you had this h3 g6.
We were just showing this funny.
Because
he
played against Shirov.
He did, and this was
he did the
drawing line,
this sad thing.
Yeah.
And surprisingly, against bishop d6, you'd expect him to do something solid.
Yes.
And he actually goes g4.
I know, which is great. I mean, should we see how we got this position after bishop d6?
Yeah, this is a big line, especially because this also allows a draw. Obviously, I mean, you can even probably just chop it off, you know, like that, and when you'll end up just chopping everything off at some point.
Sure. So basically, Sergei is
bishop d6 is
trying to keep some tension in order to win this game, obviously.
Is the line to play for a win, And then the idea later is that black puts rook on e8, and this bishop will go either to c5 or to f8.
Because it looks funny on d6, but you're going to move it and play d5 or d6 later on. So
that's actually why I was inspired to play this line with h3, bishop b4, bishop d3, and I have an extra tempo here.
Right,
compared to, so I have knight d5, knight d2 ideas.
Yeah, I remember seeing you play this
in London,
Yeah. You're playing it in the rapid as well, right? But this, what happens now?
Yeah, so he went I don't know if he had prepared this at home.
Do you have to go?
They go h6 for a certain reason.
I'm assuming to stop this bishop g5. But
although I wonder, it doesn't really. Bishop g5 I guess is sort of a problem because bishop 7 is clumsy because you lose the e5. Yeah, you have to. I mean, it's a bit embarrassing that we don't know this, but we have to sort of. This looks kind of fine for black, to be honest.
Right.
Unless I'm missing something, because this is a common idea also in the in these variations. In such structures, you know, there was a game between Caruana and Carlsen, and here you can get, you know, sometimes you can some position like that. You can get some similar stuff sometimes going on.
Even the King's Indian defense, I guess you get this
of
tactic
course,
as well.
In
the main position, in Gawain's,
today.
Yeah.
So he went. You go h6. And now he didn't castle. He went h3 already, having that in mind. Black can consider going a6 actually.
Sure. Would you take on c6 there, or
I think not, because that would release. You know, I mean, that would justify bishop d6. Placement. Very often in the Spanish, bishop is on c5, and in such structure it goes back to d6.
Okay, right. So
although you can definitely always take, but I think after h3, a6, you know, actually here they play a3, with idea to go a6, bishop c4, and save this bishop. Yeah. So I wonder if
of course, nice, got it. Just about got there in time. So
if I wonder had allowed this one, of course, it's very awkward with bishop on d6, but it does win the bishop. But although I imagine, I mean, this bishop on d6 looks extremely awkward here.
Looks a bit silly, So
it's probably not a real threat.
Okay. And
so he went And he didn't, of course, expect his idea, so he just castled, which is more natural.
Sure.
And we got g4.
And now g4 is a very full frontal move, isn't it? It makes some sense.
Makes a lot of sense when pawns on g6 and bishop is on d6.
Yes,
I mean,
because black's misplaced. You're trying to take advantage of these slightly peculiar moves.
Now d4 is very natural. Other alternative I would consider is just bishop e7 or bishop b4 to remove the bishop and strike with d5, because according to the laws of chess, you have to strike in the center.
Okay.
But knight d4 is very natural.
Yeah.
I guess this is a bit. Yeah, I mean, this is probably not very good for white.
Okay.
I don't really know why. Maybe
some c6.
Or c6, yeah, c6. Now bishop a4 is bishop c4. You know, I can even move this bishop and
go d5.
Even check and d5, you know, something like that. Yeah. Just any mess in the center is good for black. Usually when pawns on g4. Yeah. And he went bishop c4 back. And did he go c6?
We had c6 and g5.
Yeah, I must say, I would be tempted to move this bishop.
To try to get some break in the center.
Yeah, because his idea is to go c6 and then move the bishop.
Yeah.
I would consider inversing the order. Okay, so c6, g5.
Yeah.
I guess that's logical. You could also start with rook g1, but I don't think there is much point to that. And now...
maybe you have to go to then e5 is... Maybe e7.
Did he play that or not yet?
No, just we only have g5 on the board, so yeah.
If not for this g4, g5, he would go c6, bishop c7, yeah? This should be the plan. Yeah. But now this f6 knight, maybe it's an illusion, but it does feel a little loose.
Yes.
Probably it's an illusion, because I cannot go knight d5, you know, or knight e4.
Yes.
And if I go rook g1, I'm threatening bishop h6.
Yeah.
But you're just in time with d5, or not, ed. Yeah, such stuff is... also, the thing about this g4 moves is that black tends to want to panic with some rough decision, which is often backfiring, because in fact g4, g5 is just, you know, it's...
Can weaken white as well.
But not too much.
No. I mean, I have to say, I like this idea. I mean, it's certainly an interesting idea with this, you know, stuff with rook g1 coming in, and if you get queen to f3 as well.
I actually like this position already, simply for white.
Yeah. Because it looks pleasant. So he has taken on g5
bishop
as well.
e7, I think, to actually threaten d5.
Sure.
That's actually maybe important.
And if you take on e5, there's something nasty is going to happen, isn't it?
No, this is already nasty, I think. Yeah.
Yeah, you can't.
Yeah, actually, bishop e7 is important.
It's good, and probably rook g1, and you go d5 anyway.
Yeah, and this is another different story. Yeah. I mean, you have to still.
It sometimes does that, so.
Yeah, no, he went g5. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah, actually, this maybe now I'm changing my mind. Maybe black is good, because if you get d5 in without any major
problems, then it's, okay. So you think you take black here? I mean, it's all about this d5.
I have to calculate a little bit longer, but from what I see so far, I take black. Yes. Also, I feel that black hasn't done enough wrong not to be able to
be punished like this.
Yeah, so exactly. I mean, bishop e6 is awkward, but not to the extent that g4 in open games. You know, it's not the Sicilian; it's open game. So not to the extent that it should be killing. And also, I have some faith in Movsesian and his experience.
He's quite a. I mean, his style, I'd say, he's very theoretical normally, isn't he? He sort of relies on his experience and understanding he's a good chess tourist, isn't he? Of course.
Kasparov called him. Kasparov called him a chess tourist. And he's. I think his shape is going up and down. He once, I think, reached 2750.
He did, yeah. When Kasparov called him a chess tourist, he was 2750, which is.
You think that later as well? When I was playing in the Vaikanze tournament once, he was 2750. He was very strong, but then he had some down periods when he dropped to 26 low, and but in general, of course, he knows what this game is about. Yeah.
He understands the game well. Yeah. So, should we go over to your fellow countryman and have a look at Erwin and see how Erwin's getting on? And this was really weird. We saw this h4 and e3.
You only do it after pawns on.
Normally, but he does it here.
I imagine this is the kind of line you played 20 times.
I've had this a couple of times. Yes, indeed.
I mean, I just see you do this. You know,
just without even thinking.
With a beer in your hand and.
Well, you know, in the right tournament. So, you know.
No, but this actually this stuff. Can objectively be good for white as well. Sometimes.
Yeah. But that's when G6 is played, because at least you've got a target to attack then. But playing it when G6 hasn't been played seems to be
the only
quite peculiar in initial fact. So
the only thing is that here it makes some positional sense, because in this line with pawn on h2, the knight, especially after Aaron played bishop e7, which I'm not sure is really a good move here, because usually this knight with pawn on h2 would seem awkward.
Sure.
Because it doesn't have f4 square anymore, and potentially h6 g5 would cut it off. But here actually it is under this pawn, so you cannot go h6 g5, and it is sort of standing fine on h3. So I'm not sure that it is that bad, this h4 move.
Do you think black should be, instead of adapted after h4, rather than playing d5, go for the classical E5 plan? Maybe. Yeah, I'm trying to sneak it in, you see.
Yeah, of course.
But maybe.
No, the thing about the classical Dutch, which of course you play with great results, I've sat next to you beating Wojtaszek, was it? I mean.
And I've had some good results with it.
Gelfand?
So Gelfand as well, yeah. Managed to beat Gelfand with the
opening. The thing about this classical Dutch is extremely positionally sound opening.
Yes, yeah.
I mean, there is absolutely nothing wrong with this plan. The only problem is that you maybe are one tempo too short to really make it perfectly work.
Yes, that's why I started to go f4 sometimes to try to get it to work. But I do agree. I mean, the classical Dutch I think is sound, but you have to be so careful. One slight inaccuracy, as you had in your game, maybe a5 is even a very small inaccuracy. But here, because you've got the extra tempo.
Yeah, the thing is, with an extra tempo, and I assumed, I don't even know if it's knight 6 actually, maybe knight e4, because knight 6 d5.
Yeah.
With that extra tempo, if you do get your e5, you're very happy, of course.
Yes. I mean, the pawn on h4 looks kind of misplaced in this kind of setup, I'd say. A little bit. Maybe not too bad.
It could be useful when bishop appears on f4, but
right.
I mean, you definitely take this position because
you have my normal position, but someone's gone h4 against me, so it's it's okay. I don't mind this, even though I kind of like h4 normally. But it's. I mean, this maybe it was a good option. But
in
of
fact,
course,
it's more principled, I think, than some.
I think so.
Because the Stonewall Dutch is so bad that white can even play h4, and maybe white is still slightly better.
Is this what you think? Do you think the Stonewall Dutch is?
I think white is bad, I think white is still slightly better here because I mean, in nature, the black is so static. I mean, in your Dutch, if you get d6 e5, I mean, in theory, if you get this structure, you already have space. Whereas in Stonewall, you can give him 10 moves, and he will still just be walking around his wall.
Not doing so much. So can I quote you on this, Anish? That I can quote you that the classical Dutch, by the DVD, is better than the Stonewall Dutch, which people like Magnus Carlsen play occasionally. Yeah,
no, classical Dutch idea of it, the concept of it is fantastic.
Okay.
When I was preparing for my game against the guy, in the second round, who played the classical Dutch, I actually watched a video of yours on YouTube.
Okay.
About that.
That's worrying.
Because I assumed that maybe the guy have seen that video, so I want to know what he knows.
Okay.
But then turned out you made a whole DVD with lots of hours on it.
Yes.
Which I did not attempt to download illegally.
Okay, good.
So I do not own that DVD, so I couldn't watch all of it.
Okay, well, you know what? I might even send you a free copy, Anish. How about that?
Thanks.
Yeah. So this.
Because I never download illegal stuff from internet, so that's why I couldn't watch your and it's pretty old, right? The DVD.
It's a bit old now, yeah. I guess like 4 or 5 years old, but it's pretty relevant, I think, for club players. But at your level,
as I said, the positional idea behind this is absolutely fantastic.
Yeah.
I just think that objectively, if white plays very precise, you might miss this tempo for getting e5.
Yeah. And I mean, should we jump to the current position, just see roughly what you think is happening here? After knight g7.
Yeah, I have to say the c takes d5, by the way, is an incredibly peculiar decision because there is sort of a common knowledge thing that in a situation like that, in theory, black should be able to recapture cd with ed.
Yes.
Because now the pawn is hanging. So this, in theory, I mean not in this position because here you have compensation, but in theory, white should take on d5 only when the knight is on d7. You cannot go cd ed and cd cd. The knight is misplaced. On d7. It should be on c6.
Yeah.
And you can always take on d5. You would think. and get ED.
So why rush it? I mean, keep the tension maybe.
This is incredibly,
so
and it is also a move
bit strange,
that computer often suggests in these structures.
Right.
And it is very peculiar because it's really not. I mean, you can just play the same thing you do afterwards. Yeah, knight h3, castle bishop f4.
Yeah. And you always have the option of taking on d5. So why play?
I guess he will never do anything else than ED. But anyway, I think it's possible. As I said, this, you have this e5 hole still.
Yeah.
He brought the knights. Black brought the knights. Yeah, as I said, I think Erwin actually played this bishop e7 idea, which is good with pawn on h2.
Yeah.
But I think that here, actually, what he did played in white's hand to an extent. I mean, now this pawn h4 is really justified.
Yeah. Okay.
And I see. I don't know if knight g5 doesn't bring much, because of knight d6.
Because of knight d6, right.
Actually,
I suppose you could go knight e5 there and reroute the knight to f3. I don't know if that's a good plan or not.
But I'm actually wondering if what is actually white's plan in general.
Yeah, sure. Because normally you want to play f3 and
maybe queen e8, not to cover g6 like square.
Yeah, okay.
Go h6. Yeah, f3 is not happening. F3 is definitely
not. F3 looks funny now. The pawn's on h4 somehow as well.
F3 is definitely
because you want to play f3 in these positions, but with a pawn on h4, g3 is a bit of a target. So
having said that, it's still possible to consider knight fg5.
Yes.
And then f3.
And then f3
but okay, I guess it's much. I mean, this knights look awkward now.
Yes.
It's not. I mean, e4, but it's not really working for various reasons. I'm sure.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, I wonder what white's plan in such a structure would be.
I suppose you can go for the minority attack, but it's a bit funny when your pieces are over
minority,
on the wrong side of the board. So
you're in the real minority on the queen side.
Very, yes. So probably black is fine here as well. I mean, it's at least fine.
He's got a game, that's for sure. I think the position is.
We have a couple more moves just to see. So let's just update a bit of a change in the position there.
I don't like what happened there for black. What is the knight?
Was there some bishop g5? Okay, I think if you press the it's not there at the moment, unfortunately.
We can figure it out.
Sure.
Come on.
Let's little challenge.
Oh wow, this is really difficult.
It's not an easy one to figure out what happened.
Yeah,
and
so
get it correct.
Bishop got to g5. This knight remained. That, like we said.
Okay. Yeah.
And now instead of queen e8, we just adjusted.
Yes.
He took ag would make g5 pawn vulnerable.
Yes.
So he took back with the bishop, and he went knight g4.
Could you take him with the pawn and gone g6? Was that crazy or?
Well, first of all, knight e4 and g6.
Yeah, you could potentially try this. I don't know.
No, that's definitely not crazy. But it's definitely not crazy. But I wonder if what this is, because my first instinct would be that white is just going to be slightly better without risk, but on the other hand, this pawn h4 now is quite awkward.
Yeah.
I mean, I got a similar position in my game with my opponent in the second round, but I didn't really have this pawn on h4.
Yes.
Now I imagine you're already thinking about f4, knight f4, rook f4.
You've got to think about these things.
Yeah.
So
Yeah, which
if
works.
you play the Dutch, you've got to.
Yeah, this actually works.
F4's one of these main pokes you got.
And Erwin, I know he's sitting with a face like this, but all he's thinking about is knight d3, f4, knight f4, rook f4.
Okay, yeah.
He's just totally on this idea.
Oh.
White is not able to cement, I think. Okay, maybe bishop f4. I mean, I would want to cement my dark squares there.
But it's not easy to...
No, and let's see if white can... because, of course, he's lower rated, so he might want to consider some bailout.
Right.
Let's see what kind of bailout is there.
This should be okay for black, though, shouldn't it? The bishop coming to e4 or something.
Absolutely.
And, maybe some chance, but can you...
I was thinking white can get some e4 to just to chop it off, but...
Yes.
He would have to at least calculate something here. It's not so easy.
So...
Yeah, it makes sense also what black did. But I was actually thinking that I was very interested. What about queen e8? Because I want to go h6. It's a lot more ambitious.
Yeah, keep the pieces on the board. And okay, well, we've... I mean, finally, I guess we should take a look at your lovely other half and see how she's getting on. So
probably not so
if
easy.
you go to the top, your game, and press that one, it should bring up a list there in the blue, and she should be able to find her name there, hopefully.
Yeah, my eye is, of course, fine-tuned to be finding her names in 1,000.
On the internet.
Yes.
Somewhere.
So here.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah, okay, she's playing Belyavsky, is a very strong player. What should I do with it?
Okay, let's see if this is actually working or not. I think we might need to refresh this, to be honest, to get it up. Okay, so I'm just going to refresh this.
Maybe just, yeah, exactly.
I might have to log in again, we'll see. This occasionally happens. And
no, we're there.
No, with so put this command in. We'll be there soon. And
this is her game, yeah, already on the board.
Ah, yes, of course. And I'll just put another one up there so we get the right thing. Okay. So there you go. And it's another Dutch here by the looks of it. So
He went with G6, yeah. So
right.
But with bishop 1 to h4, h5 is not really good.
It doesn't work so well now. So
yeah, no, this is Tabia, of course. Usually they go c4, d6, knight c3, and now.
Well, how does preparation work? Obviously, you're going to help your wife, but do
why is that obvious?
I'm guessing it's obvious,
It's pretty natural competition, in the family.
Well, actually, there was a question for you from Anton Squared Me on Twitter, because Simon and I were talking earlier about what happens when a couple face each other. Have you played Sopico in a long game?
No.
What would you do if you were paired against her?
I know different families. I know that Erwin, with pride, beats his wife all the time.
with pride.
With pride.
Yeah.
Nice.
Okay. Right.
He is enjoying it as well.
Really? That's a bit
though, as we learned recently, he sometimes loses some training games to her. So we might see a comeback by Alina.
Okay.
But there are different families. I imagine if, let's say, Kostyaniuk is playing Tregubov, with rating difference being very small, I think chances for a draw are very likely. I'm not even sure in whose favor the rating difference is, because they're both above 2,500 slightly. Yeah. But if I play Sopico, I think I'd just go for it simply.
You have to try. Yeah.
I don't think I have nice pairing actually.
And if a real accident happened, which is very unlikely, but let's say she did beat you.
That would be awkward.
Okay.
For at least a couple of days.
At least a couple of days. Yeah. That would be a tough situation in the house.
Very awkward. Yeah.
And do you know Anton Squared Me? I mean, we
absolutely.
Are you a fan?
He.
Well, sometimes he does weird stuff, but mostly it's funny. Yeah. Mostly it's funny. I mean, like this one is very funny. It's
of Amon Hamilton, and his hair.
No, this is Magnus.
Magnus. It's Magnus.
Oh,
right. Okay.
No, this is the thing that everybody was doing, making fun, and now he took it to a whole new level. Now he's doing some.
He's doing some great stuff.
Some good stuff.
I think you've got a lot of fans out there, Dan. So, and of course, we had the picture here of Magnus's hair overtaking his body there. So,
well, it's actually almost a real picture. Just he has to bend a little more, and that's actually the real Magnus there.
Give him another month, and
he just made him bend a bit more. Yeah.
How do you get on with the top guys, Anish? I mean, do you have a good relationship with them, or is it very competitive? And you try
I think it depends person per person. I know some people, are friends. Some are real enemies.
Okay. Any names at all? Or,
I mean, for example, Kramnik Anand are good friends, and Kramnik Topolov are big enemies. So that's easy to find an example. But in my case, I'm trying to be friendly with the guys, and even when I occasionally say something nasty or unpleasant, I'm always doing it with good intentions.
You seem to do it in jest as well. It seems like a lot of this is sort of quite funny when it happens, and it seems to be that. Generally.
I don't know if that is funny, but at least I don't intend to insult anybody ever. So I'm friendly, but I'm not exactly. I don't know what's the definition of friends, because usually with friends you hang out, you talk in your free time. So I'm not really friends with anyone, I think, from the top chess players.
Yeah.
But I'm on good terms, and maybe if we are at a tournament or after a tournament or on a rest day, we can, hang out, watch a movie together with someone.
Yeah, good stuff. Yeah. Okay, well let's go to the current position.
Actually, let's see the game. So she went b4.
Yeah.
c6. She actually had a game once like that, but I'm not sure she remembers that.
Okay.
Bishop b2, a5. ba is an interesting positional decision. Of course, it's a risky strategic decision because you create this pawn island. Yes. Black has sort of one giant pawn island, like a pawn continent, I guess. But white has this a pawn. But I mean, in theory, that is weak. But given that black also has a pawn on f5, which is slight weakness, and that white is a lot better developed, I don't think that this is a mistake per se. But of course, a3 is more normal, right?
Yeah, keep the pawn.
But I wouldn't criticize. I wouldn't criticize bit takes a5.
Okay.
So then he went here, knight b2. He went queen a4. That makes sense because otherwise white maybe would go a4, and then knight b3.
Yeah.
And then even the a pawn would start making sense. So queen a4 is interesting.
Sure.
I guess endgame would be nice for black because he has this a4 square here. Knight comes.
Okay. And the a2 pawn becomes weaker, I guess, with exchanges.
Yeah. I mean, definitely, if we imagine
Yeah.
knight on a4 in endgame, that's already a disaster.
Sure.
So she removed the queen from trade. Knight a6. e3, a3, queen a2, yeah? Yeah, that's creative because if you go, d6 you go knight g5, you force this d5 and then c4.
And we know how bad the Stonewall Dutch is, so we can't go d5. Disastrous opening. Yeah.
Yeah, actually my opponent in the second round, he played the right Dutch and then moved d6, d5,
yeah, this is the correct Dutch, the classical Dutch,
yeah,
which, buy the DVD. So,
knight b4 here, by the way, is that an option?
It looks legal.
Yeah, it's often, well, I hope the knight is getting trapped because queen c4, knight c2, I will, let's say, trade, for example.
Yeah, you can even maybe go rook c1.
Rook c1, just knight a3, rook a1.
Yeah.
And if you want to bail out with knight c4 and have an exchange, you're still losing
the knight.
The full. Yeah. So this is not working. So this is good.
Okay.
Yeah. So knight b4, I guess, is not exactly working because after queen c4, you would, although it came from a6, yeah. So it can transfer itself to d5. Yeah. Yes, that is actually an upgrade, right? Because then you go to b6.
And you come around to you want to get this knight to a4. As
definitely, yeah. Okay, I can play here queen d3.
Try to go knight c4.
And this knight is going to be good on b6, but it came under some tempi.
Yeah.
Let's say, if you go d6, I can play c4.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's a very interesting position.
It's quite a unique position, isn't it?
Absolutely.
It's not the kind of position you see every day, this one.
Yeah, good thing when you're facing Dutch is that you can afford some creativity with white.
You can.
If you play a3, queen a2 against QGD, it's not going to end well.
No. But there's lots of different setups against the Dutch you can try. That's for sure. Against all Dutch openings really. Yeah,
I mean you can make any move here, and you are probably still within the boundaries.
Okay. Yeah. I mean maybe bishop h6 is a tricky one, but everything else looks okay.
Yeah.
I mean I think nearly everything's been tried. Queen d3. I think it's even been played by Korchnoi. H3.
Yeah, or you can even play some stupid move like c3, and you are still completely game on.
What do you think? I think it was Yusupov who said the move f5 on move 1. He said the main problem with the move f5, the Dutch, is that at moments during the game later on, often the best move is f5, f7, which moving that pawn back. And when things go wrong, that is often the case because you do weaken your light squares a lot by playing this f5 move. But
the upside is, as you probably must have told your viewers and friends, that I mean there is a very sound opening King's Indian.
Yeah.
And then, in short, what black is doing, he's playing, just for argument's sake, he's playing e5, and then, for argument's sake, he's then putting the pawn on f5, and then often bringing the knight back to f6.
Right.
And what you do with the Dutch is you try to do f5 before going knight f6, d7, or h5, f6. So you try to win 2 tempi on the King's Indian.
Yep. But when it works well.
The problem is you are not exactly in time to get the e5. You don't really get the e5 move. Like here, for example, there is this Dutch, which is also, in theory, sound. But you're not really in time to get e5 because you're going to go d5, and now your pawns, center pawns, are ruined. So Dutch is. E6 is a very positional move here.
Yeah, I saw you had a game with this, but I had this against Yakovenko, and I run into some serious problems here.
You're not in time. Just
because e4 is just a major issue in these positions.
Yeah, you are although maybe here, like you say, e4 has been met with e5, like I watched on your DVD.
Yeah, thanks.
But I think I went rook e1 actually.
This was again,
knight e4, queen c2, knight c3, bc.
I had this against Yakovenko, and he just went e4, and I looked at this
something like this you had, right?
I had, I tried f4, but I played terribly, but this was...
No, but I mean, you try to keep the spirit going, which is correct,
Keep the correct attitude, but I don't know.
I guess something like this he did, or...
I can't remember exactly what happened, but this was one of the problems.
Yeah, black is positionally doing very well, but tactically is not in time. So he actually went knight b4, didn't he?
He has. He's gone knight b4, so he's probably moving that knight into the center, into the d5 square.
Yeah, because actually there was not easy to find a move here. I mean, the only other move you want to make is d6, but then knight g5 is a problem. So he's actually a3 queen a2 is a fantastic idea.
Yeah.
Knight b4, yeah, he's.
So he's got the same queen a2 and.
Yeah, she's gonna play queen c4. There's no other move. I mean, I hope she's not gonna trade queens. That would be bad.
Yeah.
Yeah, and then knight d5, and it's a game. Yeah.
And it's a game. Yeah. So, not, long way to go. Well, I guess finally, if you're happy to just stay for one more game,
sure.
Anish, should we go to Jibava and see how his sort of Trompovsky, and this has developed a lot. The last position we had was on move 7.
Problem with Jibava's games, you always have to think about them. Yeah, you cannot just say
you can't just roll naturally. He certainly. I mean, we had knight e4 on the board the last time, and he's a very interesting player, isn't he? He's one of these sort of maverick kind of players, and he's always kind of fun to watch.
He's one of the people who creates.
Not
destroying. Yeah.
And this knight e4 looked kind of like a good, interesting way to play, actually, in some respects, because you
he's using the sort of the move order subtleties. Yeah, I mean, if black goes d5, the knight e4 is not happening. But b6, knight e4. Yeah, very ambitious way to play. Okay, I mean, this is not a disaster, but white doubled pawns without giving up the bishop, which is
useful. Yeah.
Yeah, although these pawns, they're not always bad.
You can even put that knight on h5 quickly here, potentially.
You like that, yeah.
Maybe.
Yeah, black has g file, but okay, it's in concession, and black is actually anyway doomed to a concession, because if you go g5, it's also a concession. If you go bishop e7, bishop takes f6, you cannot recapture with it.
As we saw,
yeah, you actually can.
I think this happened in the game.
He took gf. He
took with the pawn.
Yeah, I actually saw the game, and I saw d5, knight e5, and I was wondering what black is doing against this.
And this happened.
But he actually went f4, f5. Which is very smart.
Okay, because you can't allow that f5 to happen.
Yeah, d6 often is a good move, but I think not here, because after bishop f8 you cannot make use of this.
This setup.
The king is in the box, but you cannot really make use of it.
Very unique position, though, isn't it? I mean, after f4, f5.
Yeah, but this could be better for black, because he has this dark square bishop.
Yeah.
I don't say it is, I just say it could be. Very likely it's not. Take. So check would be a move I would consider. Actually, it looks very good, no? Check.
So I guess bishop d7.
Yeah, because this is just bad, I'm picking up a pawn, and then I'm placing my knight on f3, and you can forget it simply.
You can take everything,
Yeah, just bad. So you have to go bishop d7, and okay, I would be happy to get, to get rid of this bishop pair thing. Queen a4.
Why do you think exchanging bishops there is a good thing to do?
Well, I doubt now. I mean, when you phrase the question this way, I immediately start doubting if it's a good thing to do.
I'm just trying to get it.
But I mean, in general,
chess,
in general, I think when the guy has bishop pair, and you have bishop and knight, you're supposed to be happy to trade bishops, because then he gets rid of the bishop pair.
Yeah.
And he no longer can control whole board with his bishops.
And maybe e4 becomes a bit weaker, and the pawn in the center.
In this particular case, yes. And also you have to always keep in mind that even in a semi-closed position, it can sort of open up at any moment.
Yeah.
Actually, he also can win a pawn with queen a4, right?
Yeah, immediately. Just take
queen a4. I mean, this is just great, no? Or
he didn't go for this, so. Is there any compensation with bishops?
No, I completely regret my words. Black is just totally busted here. That's completely obvious. Just, I think what he did is a bit insane. He went queen g4.
Okay.
Insane in sense that it's not really needed.
Right.
Because I mean here.
This is the current position.
At least it looks double-edged. I don't know if it is double-edged, but it looks double-edged, and I think this position doesn't really look double-edged. I mean, if you pick up.
You'd grab this pawn.
Unless I'm missing something.
Yeah.
And bishop d7, you have to go.
Is there a check on h4 at some point to try to provoke g3? I don't know.
Yeah, but it has to. I mean, right now it's just the tempo probably. Yeah. I mean, you probably go rook c8 first. Also can go long castle.
And you can castle. Yeah. Okay.
I can also always place the knight and place my queen somewhere here. I don't know. I would be inclined to take a pawn.
To take the pawn if you can. Yeah.
Yeah. Just it's puzzling. Yeah. Now he's of course he sees all this. He's just very ambitious and he wants to kill the guy. For example, what he sees is this, and bishop b5 mate.
Right.
This is the kind of thing he sees.
This is quite similar to me then, I think, in this sort of this kind of brutal way, which is probably not the best.
Yeah,
way
I think the point he's trying to make is that Queen G4 is an even better move than Queen A4 check.
He's trying to get the maximum from the position.
Yeah, that's what he's doing. And Queen D7 is a witty resource.
Yeah.
Rook D1 is coming with a tempo, so Queen C6. Now, you gotta do something because Black wants to go Bishop D7 and castle long.
Kind of like wondering if A4 is possible, but
and if I take it,
I don't know if I was trying to prove something here to misplace the queen, but
and of course also A6. I'm not sure if you're happy to include this.
Probably wrong square.
I don't think it's you're happy to include that. But okay, so he tries to bring the knight over to F4, H5, F6. Yeah, why don't you just castle long? Actually, why do you do this C4? Yeah, because white can go castle, I guess, and this F7 pawn is
weak.
It's weak. Well, I think that Jibava will win the game, but I'm not sure if he played it the best way. C4.
And he's taken his sunglasses off as well, which is one of the first times he's done this. So, do you think he means business? With sunglasses off?
Usually it's the way around. Now already Jibava taking sunglasses off is like a it's like a thing. Like, well, he's without sunglasses.
He's taking them off. Yeah.
While everyone else without sunglasses is it's completely normal thing.
Would you find that off-putting playing someone with sunglasses? Do you think? Or
I used to play in sunglasses. I played once in an under 12 championship.
Right. Yeah.
And I forgive myself because I was under 12.
Okay. Yeah, that's allowed.
That's yeah.
I have one question.
Okay, one question from the crowd.
He played Queen G4 and he was recommending Queen A4.
I thought so, yeah.
Okay, can you put it?
Yeah.
If he played Queen D7.
Yeah, that's what I was hoping you would do.
Yeah. That's a nasty one. Ooh.
I love these kind of questions. You can because I was already tense, like I missed something, some computer lines coming up.
H4.
Yeah.
This is the way I was playing. This is the way I was playing Blitz yesterday, Runa. So I was playing quite similar to this.
That's the disadvantage of Queen G4 because now Queen D7 you don't have Bishop B5. That's the disadvantage of the move.
Okay.
And we've got a question for you, Anish, and then I guess we'll try to get Fiona back on soonish. So you played a lot of super strong tournaments last year, and this year you're playing the Reykjavik Open.
What's the question? It's a super strong tournament, right?
Do you enjoy these opens? I guess I was hoping you'd type in time there, so we get it. I was trying to delay it a little bit, but I mean, do you obviously you started your career playing opens, but you don't play many opens. Do you sort of enjoy the aspects? I mean, you answered this earlier in the commentary.
Yeah, okay, I enjoy playing well. I don't think it matters whether it's an open or a closed event.
Okay.
I mean, naturally, winning 4 games, which I've already accomplished here, would have been problematic in a top tournament.
Yeah.
I mean, it doesn't happen often to anybody. I mean, even Magnus Carlsen is struggling to win 4 games. So that is nice, but of course, I mean, for example, Vishy Anand had a disastrous tournament in Gibraltar.
Yes.
I don't think he has.
It's risky, isn't it, for you playing this? Because if something, you can lose a lot of rating points. I guess. I mean, there is a risk.
Yeah, for sure. But I mean, to be honest with you, the main reason why top players are playing the closed events other than open events is that because closed events are offering better conditions. Better conditions. Yeah. That's simple as that.
Sure.
And when open events, especially opens like Gibraltar, but maybe even more so Qatar and the Isle of Man.
Mm-hmm.
When these opens invite players like Kramnik or Anand and Topalov, and they offer them the usual conditions that they're getting, then they just come. They just come and they're happy to play. I think from a chess point of view, they're actually happier to play an open than a closed tournament.
Yeah.
But just, if you have at the same time a tournament where in one tournament you get quadruple amount of money, and at the end of the day you are a professional chess player, so that's just simple as that. I mean,
it's quite exciting news this year, actually. I mean, I think this has been announced that the Isle of Man tournament coming up at the end of the year is going to be. Are you playing this year?
I don't know. I was invited last year. Unfortunately, I had to play something else. I couldn't participate, but I'd be happy to play. Yeah. Sure.
I mean, I hear it's going to be one of the strongest opens ever.
It's difficult because there was an open with Carlsen and Kramnik.
Yes,
I think it's going to be difficult.
That was Qatar, wasn't it? But it's going to be a great event, and it's I think me and Fiona are commentating there again. So
it's a nice trend for the organizers to realize, because actually for sponsors, when they want to see or especially sponsors who want to see some action back, I mean, in a top tournament you might sometimes be stuck with even if you have 5 games, you might be stuck with reasonably boring games at some point. Whereas here it's just impossible. You have like hundreds of games.
Too many interesting games going on. I mean, I generally find opens more interesting because everyone plays slightly more aggressive openings, and you get more unique positions, and sometimes you get in the all-players and the elite all-players. Everyone seems to play sort of similar openings, probably because they're the best openings.
Yeah, no, there's really objective. There are objective reasons why everybody is stuck to their openings. Yeah. But for example, it's fun to see like what would Kramnik do against a 2400 player.
Definitely.
If the guy goes with white rook 1 Berlin, and then you take Kramnik out of his comfort zone, and that becomes an interesting to watch for people.
Yeah, definitely. Well, look, thank you so much for joining us, and best luck with the rest of the games.
Thank
you. I think we're gonna bring Fiona back on shortly after. We're going to have a little break first. So, been a real pleasure. So, thanks.
Thank you.
Yeah.